Over 800 people will watch the live stream. Strong will share now. Let's start with the first topic. That's the Plaza Accord. So this Plaza Accord is what it's like. Then share the bad solution for you. This agreement was signed in 1973. The Plaza Hotel in the United States. Well, that includes it. America's relationship with 4 other countries in G years. And that includes Japan, German French, and German French. Well, what does this agreement mean? That is to say, America. The U.S. wants to be called stable, the exchange rate of the U.S. dollar, with all the copper in the currency of other countries. The second one is to rebalance the trade body, America with you. Countries such as Japan, the setting is 1985. You know, the Japanese economy, they are after the World War. The Japanese are doing a very good economic recovery, and they've grown to the point where is the per capita GDP of the Japanese. It surpasses the Americans. That's because of the ability to innovate in technology, as well as the ability to connect, industry, and sharing. The technology among Japanese professions, Asia, and their unity. It's not just that they overdo it through the war. In a world where they're growing economically very quickly, threat to the position, America's top power, then the context, before the Plaza Accord, how to share it with you, you go back a little bit to 1971. It's that the United States is starting to give up the gold standard. The gold standard, it comes from the system. It's called an agreement. Bretton Woods, 1944. After the end of World War II, then the United States built $1 billion system, us prices with other countries. After the war, and look at America. The U.S. currency is the central currency, and behind the American currency, it's backed by gold with the exchange. It is fixed at $1 United States dollar will be, so it's like 0.35 or 35. Gold pond, something. It's when you convert your money into U.S. dollars, it is entirely possible, my friends, to believe that. That's when you have U.S. dollars. You can exchange it for gold at any time. So it's going to make sure that the U.S. dollar, it's a representation of having a property, guaranteed behind it. It's like a real property, but it comes in the agreement. Bretton Woods, it worked that way until 1971. America is suffering from SA where you are. It's the war in Vietnam. The SA momentum in Vietnam. 25 wars in Vietnam, a 9 years 5, a mature 7-5. The U.S. lost a lot of money in Vietnam, a lot of money. So now, that's what Nixon is. During the Nixon era, now you see the Bretton Woods Agreement. Then it's that it limits the ability to print more American money because America has lost a lot of the cost of the Vietnam War and inflation. It's very high. So it's America. There's a need to print more money to spend on the military. And now other countries are, well, when let's put their currency against the U.S. dollar. They also see the risk, and they brought money to America. They traded a lot of gold back to their country. So now America is at risk. There is no gold in the warehouse to be able to make sure the problem is reciprocal, and gold is in U.S. dollars. Then, Mr. Nixon. It's what's called the Nixon shock. That means you're breaking the gold standard. Since 1900, what is it? All currencies are anchored to the value of the U.S. dollar. There is no right to exchange gold. That means there's no gold standard anymore. What is it now? Everything is floating. Then and after the year 1971 comes until 1979. Then America, it's going into a recession. Strong faith at this stage. That's allowing them to print a lot of money out so that they provide for America as well as for America. After the war in Vietnam, it leads to what is one. The numbers are in. Well, in Forex trading, it makes the U.S. dollar's strength drops very quickly. That means it dropped very, very sharply from the year 7.1 to the year 7.9. And when the exchange rate, the U.S. dollar, it's fallen so sharply, well, that leads to what? Well, that story is that America is inflated to be punished, and people's confidence in the U.S. dollar and the money, the toad raw, no longer holds the copper, and this dollar coin. What it makes is what? Well, confidence in the U.S. dollar has declined a lot. In the face of that danger, 1900 and 1979, you guys were the new president. Then the U.S. inflation peaked at 13%, more than 13% a year. Well then, the president, he means make a policy. That's you raising your interest rate. And he raised the interest rate very, very high. Up to the top is up to 20%. In the 1900s, 791,980 guys. And when interest rates are raised, that's what the U.S. dollar is afraid of. When raising interest rates, so imagine that you have U.S. dollars. You're going to have a tendency to keep dollars. It's because the interest rate is so high that 20% U.S. dollars, not Vietnamese dong. That's 20% a year. So they're going to keep the U.S. dollar. It makes the U.S. dollar, DXY, goes up very strongly. And when DXY goes up so much, and the U.S. dollar is so strong, it affects the ability to export. That's American, because that's when the dollar, the United States, is strong. When they export to If you export to the US will benefit, but what's going on is American goods move to other countries. It was 1900 or 1985. You guys, then there's a risk that the DXY will get so hot, it's getting so hot, it affects the American economy, and it's affecting the ability of the United States to export. America is new. They just said they're all for other countries. For countries that can say that, the 4 countries are at their strongest at the time of year 9, 8. That includes, yes, this Japanese German, France is back. And now they're asking countries to, well, their ally was to sign a Plaza Accord. And they say it's because there are trade deficits with other countries now, because that means the United States imports from other countries, and those countries won't import American goods. It starts with the U.S. asking for a stable exchange rate. That is, request the value of all the currencies of the allies must be increased, and well, the value of the U.S. dollar is undervalued. So after this Plaza Accord, there's one. It's just old. The American Power Index, it's going down. It will. When the U.S. dollar strength index goes down, then it would be very good for the problem that the United States, you can export goods to the world, but it affects the allies themselves. Yours is Japan, and this is the Plaza Accord. That's what makes it the foundation. The Japanese economy is that there was an economic crisis, and especially the 1900 housing bubble burst. 80 and leads to work. It's been a painful decade for the Japanese economy. The Japanese economy, to this day. I want you to understand that the Plaza Accord, what does it mean in the context of and the essence of what the Plaza Accord is America is America. Put all your problems in the water. It should have been the United States as a country. It's inflated, and the United States raised interest rates to keep inflation in check. But America won't. Solve your own problem. Solve your own problems. The United States created the Plaza Accord to push all your problems to other allied countries. For example, Japan. That's something powerful to share with you so you can understand the Plaza Accord. That's the way to America. It's like using power, his soft, to push. It's my problem for other countries. ODI in general, the agreement, this Plaza is just sharing information like that. It's pretty dry. And a lot of the problems that it involves, like you, it's a proof. Let's show you what the American way is, using their advantages and their soft power, their superpower status so that they are ready, that they can be achieved for the benefit of the allies, so that they are ready to achieve. What your advantage should be, their problem is that they have to deal with it themselves. While they don't, they're pushing the problem to other countries. So that's the first problem. In general, this problem is a bit dry. Con. So let's share it like this, just for you.